What is going on, guys? Mobile Carrier News here, and AT&T has sealed an agreement to basically hire and keep 29,000 technician jobs and hire 6,000 more customer service representatives for the coming year till 2023, I believe. Now, the reason this is happening is because lately, people and mostly workers that work for AT&T, they install towers, do bandwidth, help customers, make sales, maybe even management. I'm not really too sure. They've been upset of AT&T because lately AT&T has been cutting a lot of corners lately. They've been selling assets. In other words, their investment. They've been firing workers too. For the article doesn't really say why they got fired. I believe what AT&T is trying to do is they're trying to cut back on capital. They're trying to save some money. I don't know if they're having some issue with debt, or I don't know what the issue is with AT&T, but that's what's been going on with AT&T. They've been having all these issues. Just cutting off people and just not keeping them, and if that's making them save money, then people are getting really upset over that. People are demanding that AT&T shouldn't be doing this as a company. AT&T did plan to save a lot of money from now 2021 till 2023, and it's honestly stopped. It's come to a stop now at this point. AT&T now they have to hire more workers, and they also want to make Martin Luther King a holiday. I guess a lot of workers on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I guess they don't like to work that day. Maybe they want to pay tribute to Martin Luther King Jr. Maybe it has to do with things in the past. I don't know what it is, honestly. But AT&T honestly has to meet these demands because it's just going to hurt the company. Yeah, there's a lot of... AT&T has millions of customers and mostly workers that work for AT&T. But just the fact that AT&T is cutting I wouldn't say half of their employees. They're cutting a small percentage. I'm going to say 0.1 or 2%. But the problem is, just that one small cut could literally turn into, I believe, maybe like 2%, which would be a big deal for AT&T. The last thing AT&T wants to do is cut off a few workers, and then essentially more workers quit. Basically, workers don't believe AT&T is paying a fair share with not giving them a day off and just firing people on the spot, because a lot of people either want to work for AT&T or, they have good benefits. They have a lot of good health care. They could have good insurance policies. I don't know what AT&T has. They have a lot of good benefits, and people don't really want to work for another company. They could honestly go to Verizon, but the problem is, like, let's say you work for AT&T and they lay you off just because they're trying to save money, or we're trying to cut back costs and production, and you go to work for Verizon. Verizon's going to look at your resume and going to be like, oh, you got fired from AT&T. It's because they were laying off people. Well, the thing is with Verizon, they're honestly not going to care. What Verizon's going to think is that you were not a good worker, and they don't want the same energy when you go to their company, when you clearly didn't do anything wrong. You just literally got laid off because of AT&T's, how people are saying buffoonery. And, it would just be horrible. In my own opinion, I really think AT&T needs to focus more on the employees than the company, because we all know a lot of companies are either greedy or, they avoid a lot of tax write-offs, which, it's pretty much legal, to avoid stuff. You do have to pay some form of tax or some things in the future, but just cutting off employees like that for no reason, just to save up costs of production and to save the company more money, I think that's a little unfair. I think AT&T really needs to get their act together. I really think AT&T needs to just keep the workers and hire more people, because think about it. 5G is literally a race to 5G. And on top of that, the fact that AT&T is being blocked by the FCC, I really don't think AT&T should be focusing on cutting off workers when their 3G is being delayed. here's the problem. If you cut off workers, especially a lot of workers, which is, let's say they cut off thousands, which is, I believe, a small percentage of what they have of millions of employees. That's still bad. And on top of that, if FCC is blocking you from cutting off your 3G and converting it to LTE/5G, like, that's not going to be good on you. Like, you're not only are you delaying growth, you're delaying you're delaying your network. Those two combinations are a recipe for disaster. AT&T needs to get their act together. They really do. I don't think AT&T should be, doing this kind of sloppy work. I was gonna say shady, but it's not really shady. It's more obvious. It's just very sloppy. AT&T really needs to get their act together. Cutting off workers is just downright ridiculous, and hopefully AT&T can do better. They did promise and made an agreement with the union to keep all these workers and hire more workers by 2023. That's in what, 2 years? But the thing is, though, I'm not sure if this agreement will end. So they either need to keep making extended agreements, because AT&T could go back to their ways. You could cut off more workers, give less benefits, or it's just not a good look for the company. AT&T is $1 billion company. Now, I don't know how much $1 billion AT&T costs. I mean, AT&T is some billion dollar company, and for a $1 billion company to be doing this, it's just not okay. It's just really bad. A bad image for your service and a bad image for your workers. AT&T needs to do better. They really need to get their head in the game and just not be very sloppy and just messed up like that. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys think AT&T will change when 2023 comes around, when this agreement's over? Let me know in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.